dearly beloved, all rise for the end of the Judgment Day.
Bro,
For such a great run they had. Truly, one of the more appealing factions that we've seen in WWE over the last few years has seen its end. Much like a lot of big factions in the past in both WWE and in other major wrestling companies, I really think back to the end of the Main Event Mafia. But today we are here to celebrate the Judgment Day and its farewell, as it's been dissolved, imploded, everything you can think of. And on that note, it's VWP. It's Monday. We're talking wrestling on Monday. We couldn't talk on Sunday, but you get the idea. And we're going to be talking about Summerslam. My name is Yusuf Rashid. I'll be handling things today. Joined as usual by my two lovely co-hosts. First up, you know him as Emil. I know him as Timmy. Tyler knows him as Public Enemy #1 occasionally. My boy. Yerp.
I have the hiccups. I'm trying to get rid of them.
And he has the hiccups.
eat some peanut butter, bro.
Does that help?
Yeah, get a big spoonful, like get like a spoon and get like a bunch of peanut butter on that sumbitch and eat it. Yeah, that helps.
It probably dries.
Makes sense.
It like helps like contract your muscles, I think, or something, because your diaphragmatic muscles, because because peanut butter, you're like, doing all that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
and of course, the man behind VWP handles all our social media stuff on TikTok. You will see him there all the damn time, and apparently all knowledgeable about things peanut butter. Tyler,
what up? Go follow that TikTok. We're pushing 100 followers right now on TikTok.
Are we really?
Yeah, we're at 89 currently, and we're at 149 subscribers on YouTube. We had 150. Some fucker out there unsubscribed. So,
boo that guy.
Damn.
But that's okay. That's okay.
Damn.
We're going with each week, y'all, and it's all because of y'all. So thank you so much.
We are going with each week, and this past week, as much as we could talk about what happened on Raw and what happened on SmackDown, we don't want to talk about what happened on SmackDown. SmackDown is just boring. But you know it wasn't boring? SummerSlam on Saturday night. Let's kick this stuff off. Let's talk about the first match of the night. That, of course, being for the WWE Women's title, the World. I can never remember. It's just the Women's World Championship, right?
Yeah.
Women's World Championship. Thank you. The defending champion going in, Liv Morgan, taking on the challenger, Rhea Ripley. And, of course, the other stipulation being that it was not for the custody of Dominic Mysterio, which is a damn shame.
But it was referenced.
Which I think is still funny. Fun match. Rhea showing her usual aggressive style of wrestling is always. I love watching Rhea Ripley in the ring. That shoulder spot, I think I winced immediately when it happened. I was like, that was
the nail in the coffin of like, get this woman in the Hall of Fame the second she retires. That was fucking epic, dude.
Oh, 100%. And it's one of those matches where I put it under like a very good opener. Not like incredible, but very good for what it was, what it needed to do, and what it needed to be in terms of both a match and in terms of the overarching angle of Dominic Mysterio came out with Rhea. Is he still on Rhea's side? Is he going to help his mommy, or is he really with Liv? Of course, the other angle being the slow but what would be almost immediate dissension of the Judgment Day. So Liv hits an Oblivion on a chair that was planted but not planted there by Dominic Mysterio. Liv picks up the win. Dominic exits the ring with Liv, plants a big old kiss as they tell Rhea to basically go screw herself. And now we have an angry Rhea Ripley, which I think is exciting moving forward. What did you guys think of the match? What did you guys think of the angle, everything that happened, and all that shebang?
We knew it was gonna happen. Liv winning is the right move, of course. It continues the story. It opens up more of Dominic, because Dominic with Rhea at this point kind of just doesn't do anything unless they wanted to go with her, like trying to get back in her good graces a little slower. They just didn't feel like doing that, which is fair. We don't need it. So I watched 2 of these matches live-ish, and then the rest I watched on delay. But the person I was watching this match with also got really into it. So that who likes wrestling but doesn't really whatever, right? And they were really into it. They were invested. So the story is hot. The story has social media value to it. It has all the things that you want. And it's honestly probably one of their hottest things going for them right now, which is wild.
Yeah, this shit fucking cooked. This was the best match they could have had open the show. It had a lot of story to it. I know it's not Timmy's NXT Takeover, Electric Boogaloo SummerSlam, whatever Cleveland bullshit, but no, this was great. Rhea once again carries the pay-per-view opening match. Not that Liv didn't do a great job; she was incredible too. But Rhea's been that person to open up the big four. She opened WrestleMania with Becky, in another great match. But this was great. This was Liv's best performance, I think. And she consistently is one-upping herself with every match she has. She's doing the work of her career. She absolutely deserves this win over Rhea. The reactions on commentary, the crowd reactions to Dom turning on Rhea and kissing Liv were perfect. Like, with Cole and Pat being like, Dom, you dirtbag, scumbag, son of a bitch. Like, that was so good, man. It was perfect. It sold Dom for exactly what it should have been. Dom flipping off the crowd. Like, this was perfect in every sense of the word. I couldn't have asked for a better outcome. I'm excited to see where they go. But I think Rhea will ultimately get that title back at some point. But Liv was the move for right now in this moment. And yeah, they can continue to cook from here.
100%. My favorite thing about Dom's involvement in all this now is there was a tweet I saw after that match where it was like, the man will never have to learn how to cut a proper promo because he's going to be booed to death again for the next 5 years. Dom Mysterio has come such a long way as a character in this company, from being that like just chicken shit babyface with his dad wearing like the jumpsuits to just who he's become after the heel turn, and the fact that he doesn't cut a lot of promos. That's the fun thing about Dominic Mysterio that I've kind of come to realize now, is he doesn't cut a lot of promos. He just has a lot of natural heat on him. And I think that has been such an impressive thing in his growth, and, being in the Judgment Day has helped him so much. And now we're getting to a point where, yeah, he's probably one of the best heels in the company, if not the best heel in the company. So good for you, Dom. I'm proud of you. Speaking of things that would take 5 minutes, 5 years, or 5 seconds, I think it's time we get on to the second match, that, of course, being for the Intercontinental Championship. Sami Zayn in a rematch against Bronson Breaker Steiner Man, which apparently was allotted for 10 minutes on the card and ended up going 5. Braun wins. End of story. We have a new Intercontinental Champion.
Did exactly what it needed to do. I blame Solo Sikoa and Solo Sikoa only. Fuck you, Solo. All jokes aside, this was great. This did exactly what it needed to do. Once again, the common thread throughout this whole night is that the booking was on point. There was not a single outcome where I was like, this could have been different. I would have preferred it this way. Like, for me, everything hit. And even if I didn't predict it necessarily, because I was wrong about one match and the rest of, and there was small like outcome decisions where like they didn't go the direction I thought they were gonna go. But I loved every second. Breaker hit that Frankensteiner, and he's hit it before, but man, it looks so good every time. Like, you don't expect it ever, because this dude doesn't look like he can be hitting Frankensteiners off the top rope, but he does. He doesn't look like he could be hitting 30 miles an hour when he's like bouncing off the ropes back and forth to hit spears, but he does. Fucking incredible. Like, he's the guy that you needed to put this title on. It is a little bit of a gamble, all things considered. It is his first title reign on the main roster. I think there's a very high chance it pays off, so I think it's a safe choice. Well-deserved choice. Cool to see the clip of the Steiners reacting to it too. If y'all saw that in the Legends box, that was cool.
That was a sweet moment of Rick, Scott, and DDP. What are you doing there? You're not a Steiner. Up in their box watching, and Rick getting a little emotional, and yeah, it's cool. I think Uh, for the insanity that the Steiners are, and that we've all known them for, we forget that they were such a iconic and like major part of tag team wrestling in the 80s and 90s, and how they paved the way for tag team wrestling. So for a second generation Steiner to get his comeuppance and, you know, win a title, and see Rick and Scott have their moment in the box of just like, you know, shedding a tear and being like, all right, the boy did it. The boy got his first main title. It's a cute little moment. It's a cute little moment. Also, I will say, to quickly interject before Tim, Braun Breaker hitting a Frankensteiner is not shocking to me in the slightest, because if you looked at how Rick and Scott were when they were younger, there's no way they should be hitting Frankensteiners, but they did. Like, that family is just athletically gifted.
The one thing I will say, too, just real quick, I'm sorry, Emil, we'll get to you in one quick sec. The one thing I do want to say is, I hope that with the way that they have treated the IC title, you see what happened with Gunther tonight. We'll talk about that later. After he lost the IC title, he goes on to the world title. Sammy is probably going to do the same thing. He might feud with Braun for a rematch, but I think he ultimately will go up to that world heavyweight title thing. I really hope they do the same with Braun Breaker, where they use this as a stepping stone for him. I think that they're trying to, so we'll see where that goes.
Wait, is the rumor that Solo was taking more time, so they cut this?
No, I'm just looking at the times, and like the main event was 29 minutes, and everything else was under 20 minutes.
Yep.
And the main event did not need to be 30 minutes.
So this match though, I like that Breaker missed that opening spear. That was fun. I mean, it like opens up his inexperience, especially on a stage like SummerSlam. I mean, he just had this match at Money in the Bank, but it's a different thing, stadium, whatever, right? Cool. Right person went over. Yeah, I really have nothing else to add that hasn't already been said. Yeah, no, this is great. I will say, reading some of the comments, some of the internet is already over him.
That was quick.
Yeah.
Y'all just like to hate, don't you?
No.
He's a little boring. He's a little one-trick pony.
No, he's not, dude. He's literally not.
Little fast spear, little run.
So
pick him up and throw him.
I do want to say
very
something.
Ryback.
I feel, whoa, buddy.
Hell nah.
Better mic skills.
No, he did.
More.
And he was just cooler. And he's just cooler. I mean,
and he cuts a way better promo.
Braun is
Braun cuts a way better promo too.
I think the thing with Braun, and we're gonna start to see this more and more now that he's champ, is he's got a lot of tricks up his sleeve. Because like we didn't really see him hit like a Frankensteiner when he was in NXT. Now he's hitting them for fun, right? Like at the end of the day, and this goes back to my point, he's a Steiner, and the Steiners were full of surprises with just how like the insane things they could do in a ring. So
just trying to be the voice of the people, man.
Y'all were cheering this man on to kill Ricochet in the beginning of his run, and now you're saying he's boring after like 3 weeks. Give me a fucking break. Give me a fucking break.
I will say
Give me a break.
As much as I was not a fan of him winning at Money in the Bank, Luke Owen from Wrestle Talk had brought this up, that this is very essentially cut and paste of how Braun Breaker has been booked from when he started in the company. He has a big match, he ends up losing, but then he adapts and he learns from that, gets a rematch, kills him. He did that with the NXT title, and now he's done that with the Intercontinental title. He lost to Sami Zayn. He took his time and went, okay, what did I do wrong? There was something what went wrong, right? And then come the rematch at SummerSlam on Saturday night this past weekend, he killed Sami. So, yeah. It's very much cut of the same cloth of how Braun's been booked, which I think is really cool.
They also wanted to save, from what I read, they wanted to save Braun's win for a bigger stage. So that's why they didn't have him go over at Money in the Bank.
That makes sense.
That's why they had him go over here. You don't have Money in the Bank moments that last for years, right? You have WrestleMania moments. You have SummerSlam moments. You have Royal Rumble moments.
Are you telling me that when Kane cashed in the Money in the Bank briefcase on Rey Mysterio, that's not a Money in the Bank moment?
I was fully expecting you to say Punk.
It is still in the promo that they use for Money in the Bank.
It is. Yeah.
It is.
Which is actually really funny.
Fucking Mayor Glenn.
I hate that guy. Anyway, moving on. Speaking of people we don't like, because this match was next, Tyler. Mr. LA Knight.
Yeah.
Taking on the, unfortunately, United States champion. Boo. Logan Paul. With Machine Gun Kelly?
Nah, that was awesome.
I'm not a MGK guy.
Trash.
I'm not an
Two
MGK
trash
guy.
human beings.
So that was so LA Knight
What
wins.
MJK do?
I'm just not a fan.
Existed.
Oh.
Tried to invent pop punk.
That's not accurate.
No, it's not. It's not. I'm clowning.
Anyway. Great fun match. As much as I hate Logan Paul the person, I can't get over how good of a wrestler he is. That man, I had brought this up in our group chat, but it was a fun match. Each guy gets their offense in. Logan, as usual, tries to get the brass knucks and the chain involved to try and beat LA Knight, and all that happens. And LA Knight ends up countering Logan's. I don't know if he has a name for it, but it's basically the buckshot lariat that Adam Page does. But he counters the buckshot lariat, hits the BFT. 1, 2, 3. LA Knight finally is a champion in WWE. He was won the U.S. Championship, and Logan has got like the cleanest springboard technique I've ever seen.
I'm gonna interject here. This is the low point of the card.
Yeah.
What?
So wait. Hold on.
I can agree with that. I can actually agree with that.
The other thing that I forgot to mention earlier is I didn't watch the Bailey match. I didn't watch it. So.
Oh, okay. That's why you think it's a low point.
But for me, this is the worst match of the card. I kind of just don't care. We're way overdue for this LA Knight thing. This LA Knight thing should have happened at Mania. I kind of confused why it didn't. Where does Logan Paul go from here? Nobody cares.
No one cares. I think that's the thing, right? Like, you don't have to
But we
worry.
can't put him back in the world title.
Hopefully
No.
he just goes away. But
Well, that's not happening.
No.
because
it's
he
not.
draws money.
It's not. I know.
With literally one of their best
I
superstars
know.
on their roster.
I know.
I think the thing with Logan.
We're separating the person and the art. The art and him understanding the art of pro wrestling
Professionally,
is
yes.
magnificent.
Yes, professionally, yeah.
Professionally, from
as
this
a
standpoint, yes.
person, no. But from here, I think with Logan, it's fine if you just keep him away for a while, especially with like everything that's been happening.
He'll come
And
back.
the fact that we
Yeah.
have an election coming up.
Have him pop in the Rumble, have him return in the Rumble, and then we go from there. He gets his Mania match.
Yeah, exactly.
And, he stays around till
Rinse,
SummerSlam. Like,
repeat.
I'm cool with that. I'm cool with him.
Rinse, repeat.
I'm cool with a January to August schedule for him. Like, I'm cool to give him the time off. Maybe a Saudi show here or there.
Intercontinental title match. Well, they love him in Saudi, so he'll be in
They
Saudi.
do love him in Saudi.
Yeah, and there's the November Saudi show.
Intercontinental title. Just
Maybe.
give him all the belts.
Maybe.
Give him all the belts.
Give him all
maybe,
the belts.
Perhaps.
Yeah, maybe.
He might
I
be
will
the first
say-
celebrity Grand Slam.
I will say this is a little
Which
bit
is
controversial
gross.
here. It's a little bit controversial here, maybe, but if it's not a match that we'll get to later, this was my match of the night.
Really?
I really liked it. I think because the bar was so low for me, and I watched other people talk about this too and listen to other people break the show down, and going in, like, I just couldn't see Logan Paul and LA Knight's styles meshing well, but they actually really did. I thought it told a good story. I thought Logan Paul looked like a true, it had a big fight feel, and I think it was great. I think Logan Paul looked good. I think that LA Knight looked good. Yeah, man, it did what it needed to do. It felt like a big win. Paul tried to cheat. It failed. LA Knight kicked out after getting punched with the knucks. Yeah, he took out the whole entourage at ringside. That was great. It was funny when Cole was like, "Yeah, kick both our asses, Knight," and he's sitting there stomping both of them. It was great. Give me LA Knight versus MGK so I can see LA Knight kick the shit out of MGK as well.
No.
Why not? He's a playable character in 2K23, so why not?
MGK?
Yeah,
Really?
I believe so. Or
Games have
one
no
of them.
identity.
He had he was in the celebrity pack. But anyway, great match. LA Knight deserved this win. It felt I think the crowd made this for me too, because the pop when he won was insane. So well deserved. Good for LA Knight. Hopefully he can do some good with that US title and make SmackDown a little more interesting.
Oh, the brainbuster spot off the top rope was
Oh
nice.
yeah,
Yo,
that
looked
was
good.
gnarly.
That was
Yeah.
fun.
That looked good. I didn't know that was a brainbuster. It looked almost like a fisherman suplex.
It
Like,
was
looked
supposed-
like
It,
the leg
it was
hooked.
supposed.
It was
I think
a
it was
su-
supposed to be a suplex.
Yeah.
Well, they set it up and then they called it a superplex, but he
I
kind
think
of just drove him on his head. I was like, that's a brainbuster, bro.
That's a
well,
brainbuster.
I think
and you
that,
call brainbusters. What
I
are we
think
doing?
Logan
Just
didn't like.
say
I
it
think
right.
Logan didn't flatten out when he went to take the bump. He kind of
think-
just like stayed head
I
first.
think Logan's
think
a
so.
masochist and said, no, I'm going to tuck and we're going to keep
Right.
it as a brainbuster.
Probably, yeah.
Honestly, yeah.
That
Kill me.
honestly, I couldn't.
Could
I
see
could
it.
see that happening. Yeah.
I think he
No,
likes pain.
He probably.
I think he likes
definitely
pain.
likes pain and controversy. That's for sure.
Yo,
Anyway,
it must have been hot too because they were so sweaty. His hair was like sticking to his head. I felt
Ugh.
bad.
gross.
Well, he also
Yeah.
got drenched in prime.
Oh,
Yeah, that
I
is
forgot
true.
about that.
Yeah,
That's
he did
probably
get
why
drenched in prime.
he got stuck with synthetic sugars to his head.
Yeah. But I will say, like, fun match. Definitely not my match of the night, but I'm glad LA Knight's finally got his title. This is too long of a long time coming. Like, way too long. But you know what? He's got a belt now. Everyone can shut the fuck up. Finally.
Eh.
We can all shut up. He's got a belt. He's still, like, one of the most over guys in the company. We're good. Have him do whatever moving forward.
It's also okay that he went after Roman for that bit of time. I don't know why people are complaining about that now because I remember at the time y'all were so excited to see that. So you can shut the fuck up about that.
I
No.
just want to
the
let you know.
thing with LA
I'm
Knight.
just mad he didn't win at Mania.
Well, I'm
I'm
just
also-
saying, like,
yeah,
I know
like-
there was a lot of people that were like, "Oh, Roman should have never," or LA Knight should have never went after Roman at Saudi. Bullshit! He should have never went after
Well, there
Roman.
was nothing to do.
That solidified him as a main event guy, and he looked better after taking that loss. That was his test, and he passed that test in my eyes, and that's why he's where he is now. Like I don't see why there's an issue with it.
I mean, I think the thing with
They just don't want to blame Kevin Owens.
there you go. I think the thing with LA Knight, looking back, is it's constantly been this guy needs to have a title on his shoulder. This guy needs to have a title on his shoulder. Which title? Quickly throw a dart, see where it lands. And so when we got to the world title stuff, and like, you know, Roman didn't have anything going on anyway, and he's like, I need an opponent, and LA Knight's like, me, and like, okay, him. And like, yeah, it was essentially a test, and it proved that LA Knight can hang with like the big boys.
Oh
you know?
yeah, I forgot. We wasted LA Knight. Not even in the U.S. title match. We wasted him with AJ Styles.
Yes.
And also I forgot we wasted him in the draft by putting him in the brand where he can't actually grow and flourish as much because the main event scene is clogged.
Yep.
Oops.
Oops. Anyway, moving forward, because I think we're done talking about LA Knight here. In a match that personally was actually I felt was fun. And that was, of course, for the WWE Women's Championship. Make sure I got the name right. Bayley defending against the Queen of the Ring, Nia Jax. And Nia gets the win. We all saw this coming, right? But I got to give them credit for where credit is due. Those two had so much more fun of a match than I thought it was going to be. Because I think everyone going in assumed that it was going to be, you know, a squash.
Or a snooze fest.
Or a snooze fest, one of the two. But no, it was fun. It was right down the middle of like, it wasn't full on squashing from Nia Jax, but it wasn't just like the most boring thing in the world. And so, you know, Bayley no longer has the women's title. Nia has now accomplished her victory from Queen of the Ring, and Tiffany Stratton is hanging around. And that is, I think, the most interesting thing going forward for this feud and for that match.
So I'm gonna jump in first here, even though I didn't see the match. So congrats to Nia Jax, and I see what we're doing here. So Mania is where all of your like big happy face moments happen, and then here, I mean, like you had a happy face moment with LA Knight. That's where SummerSlam is where the heels take over. I mean, we got to get through winter somehow, right? It's gonna be a cold winter. I am noticing that. So okay, Trips, I see you.
That's valid. For those keeping track, this is the third title change of the night.
It's a lot of moves.
Yeah, and we still have 2 more title matches to go in the show. Nia deserved this. Like, call it what it, like, hate her all you want. You know Nia deserved this. Nia has been putting in the work of her career. I don't give a shit what you have to say. Just let you know. You can tell me that it was bad. You can tell me that she sucks. You're wrong. Objectively, you're wrong. She's been much safer as a worker. Is she perfect? No. But here's the thing. Nobody else is perfect either. Nobody else is perfect either.
Cody botched.
Cody does. Yeah, all the best people botch. The only people that get held to a higher standard are people that are deemed as such. They're labeled as such by the IWC. And I think it's toxic. I think it's very toxic. Nia might not be great from a personal level. I've heard some very questionable takes that she has. But we're going to do the same thing here that we do for Logan. Separate the art from the artist. You know, I respect Logan's talent. I respect Nia's talent. She's amazing. She's been doing great work. Her character's great. I watched the press conference with her and Tiffany, and they were very entertaining. Honestly, it's made Nia look like a likable person. Like, I enjoyed it. She seemed great. She deserved this. Bayley had a good run with the belt, but there really wasn't anything left for her to do with it. Let's be real. Bayley coming out with the frilly attire, the hugger-looking attire. She had lots of frills and stuff like Macho Man frills on her gear, like the NXT days. The only thing missing was the wacky waving inflatable arm flailing.
The wacky shit.
Now you're talking over me. Now I messed up.
I'm trying to remember.
Wavy inflatable arm flailing tube men. There we go. But yeah, Bayley had a great run, but it was Nia's time. Tiffy came out to distract, which is cool, with her new case that has like a strap on it, which is hilarious because she doesn't want to hold it by the handle. She could just put it around her shoulder, over her shoulder. That's great. That's such a Tiffy thing to do. I'm excited to see where they go because now you have two best friends. One is the champ and one is Ms. Money in the Bank. Where do they go? Will she cash in on her bestie? Will she not cash in on her bestie and wait till she drops the title? Who does Nia drop it to? That is all questions that we'll need to have answered. And the fact that this match was the low point of the night is just telling of how fucking incredible the show was, because this match also cooked. Even though it was not something we all were looking forward to, yes, it was probably the piss break match. I remember during the match they hit like a wide shot cutting across the hard cam floor side and like mad empty seats. It was really awkward. I'm surprised they didn't cut away from that fast, but they didn't. There were lots of empty seats. But hey, good match. I really liked it.
I am not surprised, but I'm actually very happy as well for how much Nia Jax has grown since coming back to the WWE, and how likable she's become. Because, you know, when she left, wasn't on a great note. When she came back, it was also not on a great note. But somehow everything's flipped, and I'm really happy for Nia. Now, moving forward with Tiffany, that's gonna be fun. I don't know why I just thought of this now, but I have the weird prediction that sometime in the future, don't know when, sometime in the future, Nia's going to have a title match against someone defending the belt, and Tiffany's going to get involved by cashing in the briefcase and telling Nia, I'm doing this to help you. I am sacrificing the briefcase to help my friend Nia Jax. And Nia goes, okay, sure. And just when Nia has her back turned, it will be indeed Tiffy time.
See, I like that now. Now you got me thinking. I would almost like to see her cash in, lay down for Nia, and be like, now you're going to give me a match, right? Because I helped you out of this situation. You're going to give me a match, right? And Nia's like, no. What do you mean I'm going to give you a match? You chose to do this, like whatever. And then Tiffy has to fight from the bottom, from underneath, to get that match and get the win. I think that could be a cool story. Either way, I think that'd be cool. Yeah, but
it all depends. But yeah, fun match. Definitely one of the more fun ones on the night. I think personally for me, I'm gonna be honest, the Logan Paul LA Knight match was kind of my bathroom break match, but yeah,
fair. I will say this also solidified. This also really did a good job solidifying Queen of the Ring. You know, like if we're gonna, here's the thing, and I'm not the only one that's talked about this. I've talked about this before on the show. WWE seems to be getting into this 3-month pattern, right? You start at Royal Rumble with the Royal Rumble matches. They earn title shots at the big end of the season pay-per-view, being WrestleMania. You have a pay-per-view with a lot of obstacle in the middle, like Elimination Chamber, like different things like that, right? And like there's a road to these pay-per-views, road to WrestleMania. This was the road to SummerSlam, and it started at King and Queen of the Ring. You had Gunther and Nia win King and Queen of the Ring, similar to how you win the men and women's Royal Rumble. The Elimination Chamber, getting a title match in the future, right? Similar to Money in the Bank, right? Multi-man match, a lot of grueling stipulation, dangerous, you know, ladders, chambers, all that stuff. Getting a future title match. That's pretty cool. SummerSlam is the equivalent to WrestleMania if you wanted to have that road to SummerSlam. Not saying it's at the same level, but it seems like that's where they're going to go to keep us engaged. You know, we're moving to these big. We have somewhere to go. We have a destination, and it's these big 4 pay-per-views. So I think we're going to start to see that happening more and more. And it started with, and this year it started with having King and Queen of the Ring following through on the title shots they were given and winning their respective titles. But we'll get to the King of the Ring later.
We will. And yeah, I think going that route is actually kind of fun. I've been thinking recently about how, what if they went the kind of like New Japan route, what they were doing with Wrestle Kingdom for a few years, where you have the world champions basically do double duty on like a Mania weekend, or like what will be in the future a SummerSlam weekend, since it's going to go to 2 nights. We have the world champ defend in a match against someone on night 1, and then night 2, whoever's the world champion will be defending against the winner of a prior major event. So for example, like in this case, say with, let's use Cody for example, right? So Cody has a match with X person on night 1 of SummerSlam next year. Night 2, whoever's world champ, assuming it's still Cody, will be defending against the winner of the King of the Ring tournament that happened prior. You know, something like that. That would be cool if they do it, because it really gives a sense of both build-up and intrigue. Because you don't know, it could be that person going into that night as world champ. It might not. We don't know. Anyway, speaking of King of the Ring, though. Actually, wait, no, not speaking of King of the Ring. I gotta talk about this for a second. Jelly Roll was there?
He had a banger opener.
Love that.
Yeah.
Banger opener. Oh, yeah.
Banger opener, and then in the there was a segment in between the last 2 matches, and he hit a fucking choke slam, and it looked sick.
Kind of looked sick, yeah.
It looked sick. He did need to be helped up. That was a little sad, but the choke slam looked pretty brutal. And honestly, I could see Jelly Roll getting a match down the line.
Screw it. Why not?
It.
I could.
Everyone's getting
stop
a match.
it.
Everyone just
No.
Emil out here
Just because
praising
we
all the
can-
celebrities, and
Just
like,
because
until
we can
doesn't mean we should.
I'm not saying that, but if he's in good shape and we've seen that he can hit certain moves,
No.
we'll see.
Yeah, but hey, shout out Jelly Roll. That opener was great. Oh my god, he was cool. The next match on the card. Man, I expected more from this, and it didn't deliver as much as I had hoped.
Oh yeah, this is next. I forgot.
And that was, of course, the Scottish chosen psychopath warrior without the sword, Drew McIntyre.
What paragon of virtue called him that?
I love that promo so much, because you can see Drew's trying not to laugh. But finally, we get the match that we have all been waiting for since January. Drew McIntyre against CM Punk in Punk's return singles televised match in 10 years. With, of course, Seth Rollins is the guest referee, wearing the most ridiculous pants I've ever seen.
My match, my rules.
Yeah, long story short, Drew won. And I genuinely, that match finished, I went, oh, okay.
Yeah, this didn't
know what
hit
to
for
feel.
me.
This didn't do it for y'all?
It did not do it for me. No.
Punk's conditioning looked great, by the way.
Punk looked great.
Punk looked in prime 2011.
Yes.
No abs, but no
Punk,
flab.
it's so weird because Punk here looked in better physical shape than he did when he was in AEW.
Or the Rumble.
Or the Rumble.
Well, WWE has the PC, man. If he's spending all that time in the PC with NXT, he's got all that time to train.
He's rolling around with Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade.
Whoa! Around with
all
Roxanne
goddamn
Perez,
day.
excuse me.
Yeah. No, I mean, I will say this: it was entertaining, but it wasn't. I didn't view this as a match, even though it was. It really felt just like a segment, in a way, to me. And I think we talked about that potentially being a thing. I think Emil, I think you brought it up about it potentially being like a segment. So shout out to you, respect to you for that, because that was very much how it felt to me. Because it was very much like it felt like a fight that wasn't an actual match, where Seth was kind of being the person enforcing rules lightly. We'll say lightly.
When he chose to.
Which is cool.
All of a sudden,
Which
he started doing a 10 count, and I was like, what?
Yeah, Seth, I think was having a little
and then
too
he's like,
much
it's
fun.
my match now. I was like, what?
Yeah.
My match.
Sure. Yeah. Long story less long for me is,
I mean, the bracelet thing was cool. The bracelet thing was cool.
Can I be honest?
The end goal is bad blood. I'm just going to keep saying that about this.
Can I be honest about the bracelet thing?
What is the bad blood match, though?
The triple threat?
Between who?
All of them.
You think so?
All
you
of
think
them.
so? Okay.
We're gonna run it back at Mania when we get this triple threat for
Who,
for the belt.
Seth and Punk? Or
No,
the
all
triple
of them.
threat?
All of them. Triple
Oh,
threat for the strap.
I don't know if it's going to be all three of them, but I think it's going to be Seth and Punk for sure.
Either way, like we're just trying to keep them all kind of near each other until Bad Blood, and then we're gonna get
Too
rid
much
of them.
time, dude.
It is. I
Look,
mean,
man,
October.
It's not my
so.
fault. This is how they're booking now.
I know. No, it's not. It's not. I'm just saying.
Like this is just what it is. Like this is Triple H booking.
yeah.
Book for
Now,
the take. Book
It's not
for-
bad.
book
It's just
for
not
takeover.
ideal. Book for takeover.
We
Just
love
get
our
in there. What you
takeovers.
got, man?
I will say this about the bracelet thing. It's getting. I like that it's getting personal. I just don't like the use of the bracelet being this like kryptonite item. It's like Punk sees Seth with the bracelet on him, and Punk's like,
I must
like
kill you.
it's some Lord of the Rings type shit with Gollum,
Some
where he's like,
Festus type shit.
yeah,
My
wild.
precious.
Whoever wears the bracelet is the target.
Is the target, and so it's like fucking Gollum, where he sees the bracelet on Seth, and he's like, precious, precious, and then he hits fucking Seth with a go to sleep, and you're like, Punk, no, focus on
Yeah.
the task at hand. The task at hand is not the fucking bracelet. It is that giant Scottish man.
But it did
that
a
was-
great job.
That was the point, right?
It was the point at the end of the day.
screwed
Like,
Punk.
yeah,
also the-
Also, ironically, in Montreal colors, in the Bret Hart.
in the Bret
yeah,
attire.
he was
But
there.
also,
Bret Hart
I will
attire.
say this. It made me think, damn, are they trying to tell a story? And I think they are, of like, all three of these guys are more similar than they are
Then
different.
we think,
And
yeah.
then they think they are.
Yeah.
Like, we had Drew go crazy over Punk to the point where he kept losing every single match. And the one time that he actually got the win over Punk was when he himself was the calm, cool, collected one. He was on Raw this week, and he was like, I'm cool, I'm calm, I'm collected, I'm not going to touch you, Punk. Don't touch me, and I won't touch you. It's all good, you know? And now he came in calm, cool, collected, and he won. And Seth even lost his cool at one point in the match. He was about to hit someone with a chair. I think it was Punk. And then he pulled back, and then he got hit with something, and then he got mad at himself. He was like, oh, I'm losing my cool. He was like leaning on the rope, and then that was when Punk rolled up Drew, and then Seth was late to the count. Drew kicked out. But interesting.
Yes,
stuff.
Tim.
What if they're a stable?
God, no.
No.
God,
that would
no.
be the most egotistical, like, that's not gonna work.
Punk gets
Too
his
much
stable
ego.
finally.
Too much ego.
Punk gets his shield.
God.
I think it's interesting to think about that now, because they're definitely far more similar than they think they are, right?
Best of 7.
Oh, God.
God damn it.
That'd
Triple
be a
threat Iron Man.
slog. Oh,
In the cell.
in the cell.
Triple threat 1 hour Iron Man Hell in a Cell.
And there's fire for some reason. We're making this an Inferno match, too.
And Larry in a shark cage.
Yeah. Screw it. It was like they've all obsessed over something, right?
Each other.
Yeah, and that really is each other, because Drew, as much as people might try to make the argument, and Drew himself could make the argument that he is obsessed over getting the world title back, he's not. He's obsessed with CM Punk. CM Punk is obsessed with what he thinks is fucking people over. But he's kind of just obsessed with himself. That's kind of been like
he's
a
obsessed
known
with the fact that he works with children.
Yeah. That doesn't.
Didn't like that.
I don't
Moving
like
on.
that. We're
He
cutting
said,
that.
"Oh my god, okay."
I get what you mean though. And then Seth is just obsessed with his clothing. He's more obsessed with how he looks than what the fuck happens in a match, which I think is hysterical.
I was hoping for a crop top. That would have been great.
I
I
for
was
Seth.
also hoping for the crop top.
I like
yeah.
that they all shit on. They were like, "Is this better than the Shawn Michaels short shorts?"
No.
And they all
No.
went. All the announcers went yes. All of us at home went.
No, the Shawn Michaels short shorts are still
It's
iconic.
their job. It's
Nah,
their
bro.
job.
Nah.
It's their job to shill. Let them shill.
Yeah, but yeah.
Never mind.
Drew
I get
wins.
you. I hear you.
Drew wins. Cool. Right. I'm curious to see how this moves forward. I think with Drew, him getting the win, if you caught the the post-show panel with Wade, Big E, Jackie Redmond, Drew came by and he was saying how, he got what he needed, and that was a win over CM Punk, and he's like, I'm done with Punk. He's no worry to me now. Yeah, that's not happening, Drew. Punk will always be in the back of your mind.
At least 2 more pay-per-views.
Minimum 2.
Yusuf and I were talking about this real quick before you got here, and I think Drew goes and challenges the new world champion, which we'll talk about in a second, and Punk interferes, and then Seth stops him.
Oh, again?
I think so. I think Seth stops him this time.
So then they triple threat Cage in the
Correct.
in Bad Blood for the title.
Yeah, for the title.
No,
probably.
not
for the title.
Non-title.
Oh, that title's not going anywhere for a while.
Especially not in Bash in Berlin. Anyway,
Yeah.
next match.
So,
please.
the next match on the card, we're only
Austria
down to...
and Germany are not the same thing.
They are not.
They
I
are
think
not,
people
but they're very
think
close.
that. I mean, well... anyway.
Geographically.
Are they?
Geographically.
And also geopolitically. But
I'm pretty sure they share a border. I could be wrong.
I don't...
Somebody
My
put it on
geography
the
isn't great.
So the co-main event of the night was the first of 2 world title matches that we had, and that was, of course, the Outlaw, the El Campeón, bisexual Undertaker. What else do they call him? They don't call him.
Nice.
For the Outlaw, Damian Priest going in as World Heavyweight Champion against the scariest man on earth, Gunther, coming off his King of the Ring win. And I will say this was my match of the night. This match slapped. It was so good. And for everything, and we talked about this on the last pod going into SummerSlam with, how the feud was built up. The fact that, this needs to be studied. This match and this feud needs to be studied in the future on how you make a must-watch match on 2 weeks of build-up.
Okay, Santi's up.
Oh, actually, Wrestle Talk was talking about that.
Santi said the exact same thing.
Did he
verbatim.
really?
Yes, he did.
Interesting.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, Wrestle Talk talked about the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, legitimately, this needs to be studied because, like as we talked about last week, the feud has been great. We've been loving those promos. It's been getting more and more personal. And the match itself, I think, obviously the part of the focus was what's going to happen to the Judgment Day, because earlier in the night, after Dom betrays everyone and goes to live, Priest is trying to hunt him down, look for him, and they're telling Damian oh, calm down, you got a match to worry about. Okay, we'll find him. And Finn at the end goes, hey, if you need me, just say the word. And Priest goes, okay, all right, cool. That was that. And the match goes on, and Finn eventually comes out, and I don't think there was ever a signal from Damian. I think Finn just came out on his own. Damian hits Gunther with the South of Heaven, rolls him up towards the ropes. 1, 2. Finn comes in, grabs Gunther's leg, puts it on the rope. And something I thought was really cool was the fact that they show the replay. Damian actually saw the replay of what happened just on the big screen, and there was a look of disdain in his eyes, wow, wait, what? Why? And in his moment of question and distraction is when Gunther locks him in a sleeper, and bye Damian. And now, before I throw it to the floor, I do want to say this: for all the expectations going into this match, and people thinking that Damian might not be able to hang with someone like Gunther, had it been a little more throw-y, like physical throw, you know what I mean? This was the makings of a good Haas match. Damian can hang. And I'm so happy for him. But now he's not champ, and I'm so sad.
Judgment Day is not okay.
No, they're not.
Just like Bullet Club.
And
also, the match was kind of a snooze fest.
You are insane. You are literally insane.
I'll be honest, though. Maybe I wasn't in total conditions for watching.
You probably weren't, because that match fucking cooked. That was my match of the night as well. By a mile. The beginning stretch when they just started slapping each other, just back and forth.
Each other. Yeah.
Yes, I did like that. I did like all the slapping.
By the end, Gunther's just fucking pouring blood from his chest because Damian slapped Gunther too hard.
Yeah.
Like what?
I don't know if you saw when Triple H always does like the post show pictures with like
Yeah.
new title holders.
Yes.
So he gets the photo with Gunther, and you just see like there's marks and cuts and welts all over Gunther's
dude.
chest. I'm
Yeah,
like,
no,
what
they were
the
fucking each other
fuck
up.
did Damian do to this man?
Here's the thing. I've been a little bit of a Damian hater through this title reign, only because I do like Damian a lot. I'm not saying I didn't. It's just they didn't book him as a believable champion to me. Even though he lost this match, this 1000% between the build, between the promos, and this match in particular, and his reception, how he behaved with the crowd, this sold me on Damian Priest. I am a huge Damian Priest fan coming out of this match, and even during the match, I was rooting for him to win. And I love Gunther as well, so it was really hard for me to like pick somebody. Man, it's such a shame that Damian never had a clean title defense in this run. He should have at Money in the Bank, but that's a different story. But in my opinion, that was the one to do it. But Gunther was the right guy here. We put over King of the Ring. We put over Gunther, like I said in the last pod. Gunther losing wouldn't diminish King of the Ring, especially with Nia winning earlier in the night. But what it would diminish is Gunther's stock. You built him for months as this guy who was just like looming in the shadows, waiting for Damian after Money in the Bank to come in and kick his ass and just brutalize everybody. It would have been a wet fart for him to have all of these video packages of him watching tapes and like talking about how the ring is sacred and how he's coming to revitalize the title scene, and then lose. Like, you can't do that. You can't. You had to pull the trigger on Gunther there, and it sucks. But you know what? It gives Damian a story coming out of it with Finn. And I was talking to Yusuf about it, Emil, but I would really love to see a Damian Priest redemption arc where he fights his past demons in Judgment Day. He fights Finn. He fights Dom. Maybe he fights JD. He never liked JD. He didn't want JD in Judgment Day from day one. He might blame JD for the whole reason why Judgment Day fell apart, because from there on, that's when tension started brewing. You don't know. And maybe you get Damian Carlito, but you have him go through all his past demons. You have him fight his way back up from the bottom, and you have him get that world title back. I think that would be a really great story. There's too many players right now to make it to probably do that, but if they did, I would be all for it. This match cooked from start to finish. It was everything I wanted and more. God, I would be happy with a rematch, but it's not going to happen, I don't think. But I would be happy with a rematch.
Maybe down the line. I've also been on the internet hating side apparently, because I've also seen some hate start to creep out for Gunther. People are a little bored. He's not totally personable. I get it.
They get what they want, and then they have to find a reason to hate. That's just
fair enough.
That's the IWC.
I mean, that is what it is, right? But no, Gunther is obviously the move, right? We're gonna walk into Berlin, and then he's gonna walk out of Berlin, and he might walk into. He'll probably make it all the way to Rumble.
I think he makes it to Mania.
I don't know if he makes it to Mania with Seth and Drew and Punk in the mix. That's the problem.
There are people also on the other side of the internet who do love Gunther, who would love him to dethrone Roman's reign. I'm not doing a 5-year Gunther run.
No,
I'm not doing it.
No, I don't want a Roman run. I don't want a Roman run for years. They need to make that feel
I could take
special.
about a year of Gunther with this belt before I'm
but
over
not
it.
that long. There are some people saying that he should pull a Bruno Sammartino, and I'm like, we don't need that.
That sounds fucking awful, and I love Gunther as much as the next guy.
There's a reason why those runs happen once every 35 years.
Well, there's also a reason why, because the title defenses were like once a fucking like 3 months, not like once a week, not like weekly shows. It was like a show every 3 months. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's nothing.
It was a slog at the end of the day. It was just like trying to get through all that was just a slog.
I would love him. Maybe beat his 616 record for the Intercontinental.
666, believe it or not.
Yeah, it was 666 days.
Yes, so he could beat his Intercontinental run, which
It's not
is still
happening.
2.5 years of I'm good.
It's not
off
happening.
Of that.
We're not getting long title runs over like 300 days. We're not getting over a year.
It's going to mean something when it gets over a year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think a year plus of a title reign is a long time away. I'm very excited for what happens with these champions now. I think we're going to get some really good long reigns, and I'm really excited with the fact that all of the title changes that happened on this show felt huge. And that's been the thing since like since Roman, honestly, since the post-COVID era. I feel like title changes are so few and far between that they feel very significant. And I love that. I love that about it. So I'm excited for a Gunther title reign. I want to see them run the Ilya match. I want to see them run. I want to see a Damian rematch. I want to see Gunther Sammy run by for the world title this time. I think that would be a cool match. You know, we saw him at Mania for the IC. Now we have him in the future for the world title, except Gunther gets his win back. Yeah, man, we have a lot of possibilities here. I'm looking forward to it.
The long-term storytelling of Gunther is man claims throne, man defends throne. Man will defend throne at all costs, for he cares about the throne. I'm expecting maybe a year of world title Gunther. Again, with all the Drew Punk stuff going on, maybe not, but like it'll definitely be fun.
He's got to stay interesting though. Like, I mean, and you can't just keep doing semi-racial undertoned poverty level promo. You can't do that. We can't do that for a year. Like that. It's just not the era for that. It's not the time period for that. It won't go over well. It'll start becoming a lot
of Gunther's, but a lot of Gunther's promos in the past, even like in his indie days, have been like, you know, the ring is sacred. This mat is sacred.
Fine. The elitist thing is even fine.
He does spin that into like, you know, the whole you are not worthy enough for you come from this, and like the way he's cut his promos.
And it can get super awkward, and I get that. We can't kind of, and we can't make that for a year.
Yeah, I'm ready for moving forward world champ Gunther.
I think fans have a lot of amnesia about Gunther. Did we not just watch Gunther have like a 2-year title reign almost, where like it was like an all-time title reign? Like I feel like people are like purposely, or maybe not purposely, but they're forgetting that Gunther was a real like an all-time great IC champion. Like, why can't we let people fucking cook, dude? Like,
no.
Go back and watch anything pre-WrestleMania 40 with Gunther involved, and it was great. Like, why is it that, like, why? I don't know. Like, it makes no sense.
I mean, it's not that we're hating. It's more like you have to evolve and be better and, like, step it up. Like ring general stuff works, and, like, being sacred on the mat and all that. That works for an IC title feud, right? Even like making fun of an underdog like Sami Zayn, that works at that level. You have to glamorize it a bit more in a world title scene, like whether and I did notice on this show, like the world title feels 2 tiers below that WWE title. And
oh wow, I disagree.
I would put that world title almost at the same, like, or I would put the IC level almost at the same level.
I'm with it.
Of like what they're considering super important, because they're really thinking highly of that IC title. Mm-hmm. They want to think highly of that world title. It's not the WWE title, and I feel like almost we care more about the IC title in some ways.
I think we give it time, and that world title will be a step above. But I'm with. I feel it. But I also look at that lineage.
We've given it 2 years.
Look at the lineage of that title.
I mean, it's not like we're not open. It's not like we haven't been open to letting them cook.
I mean,
it has 2 years on it. It's a staple part of
the
TV
problem.
Show
The problem is it's not the title Roman held. First off. And it's not the title Cody now holds.
That's a useless argument now. It's 5 months after Roman lost.
It's not, because every 5
months after Roman lost.
Okay, if I could talk, that'd be great. But
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. The WWE title is the one that's been main eventing the pay-per-views because it's had Roman, it's had Cody, it's had Bloodline. We haven't been able to really get that. We've gotten one main event with the World Heavyweight title.
I mean, you could just put the world title last.
You could
do that,
but you can't when you have what happened in the next match. You can't do that when it's the Bloodline. You can't do it when it's Cody. Like,
you can do that.
You can't do it when your world title match was Damian Priest when he wasn't in his prime versus Jey Uso, who also is not in his prime. Just saying, you know. Like, but I will say this. The lineage of the world title is think about it. We had Seth, who had a really solid first reign for almost a year. I don't believe it was the full year. Then we had Drew for 5 minutes. Sure. But look at who held it. It's Drew McIntyre. That's fucking epic. Damian Priest, who really took it and ran with it and became a main eventer by holding it. And which goes to show that the belt has prestige, right? Because it literally took a guy.
Oh, I don't think
I know.
it's
I know
worthless.
that. I know that. I'm not trying to generalize your argument in that way. But I'm just saying, like, I'm just trying to make a case like this belt is big in my opinion because of this. Like, Damian was not a main event guy going in. Nobody was like, oh, Damian Priest is going to be a world champ. Everyone was like, can he do this? Will he fail to cash in? Like, I don't know. The main event scene's too crowded for Damian to get in there right now. And he got in, and now he is a mainstay, in my opinion, on Raw in the main event scene. And now you have Gunther, who was the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. Like, that speaks for itself. Like, I love the World Heavyweight title. Right now, that's my favorite title in the WWE. I get why people don't like it as much. I get why it doesn't feel as big as other titles. But in my opinion, the best stories have come from that World Heavyweight title.
For me, it's like the IC title version 2, right? Like, it's kind of like having, I mean, shit. Like, it's like having like AEW has like 3 different mid-card titles, right? It's like having the TNT and the Continental Crown. It's like they're the same thing. We're doing the same thing. I mean, all the stories that come out of the world title, do we care about the actual world title though? I liked the Gunther promo. I didn't care that the world title was involved. I liked Seth in his programs leading up to Mania, but he was a good promo. He wasn't.
The focus was more the bloodline, not his title.
We liked Drew and Punk more than we liked Drew and Seth. We liked Cody. Wait, no, that's not. That wasn't for the world title. Never mind. Too early. That was too early.
I will say, as much as I would want the World Heavyweight title to main event a show, yeah, it can go last. It can, but it doesn't. And I feel like a big reason for that is the World Heavyweight title to me feels like, for lack of a better word, the Nomads title. It moves around from person to person. There's no story behind the World Heavyweight title other than all these guys are vying for it, and it moves from guy to guy. It went to Seth first, and Seth lost to Drew, albeit only for 5 minutes, but it went to someone else, and then from Drew to Damian. And for the world title, the story comes from within the feuds and how it moves. The WWE title, at the end of the day, is the trinket in the bloodline story. Right? It's the trinket in the bloodline story. Now, when Roman held it, yeah, it was everything that mattered in the bloodline. Roman's tribal chief. He holds the undisputed world title. When Roman lost, Cody gets it, and Cody being, top babyface in the company makes sense, right? It makes sense for your top guy to be main eventing the show, send the crowd home happy, and, obviously the world title is there. It's the focal point. It's the focal point based on perception, but it's not the main point of what's going on around it. And we saw that with the main event of the show, mainly because I also want to figure out a way to segue this into the main event so we can get on with this and we can talk about this a little more there. You know what I mean. Cody Rhodes defending the undisputed world title against the new tribal chief Solo Sikoa in a bloodline rules match, which went on way longer than it should have. And this was kind of a snooze fest for me, because at the end of the day, the story wasn't about the title. It was about all the guys surrounding that title, and it was about the guy who used to hold that title. So eventually...
Well, Tongaloa wasn't helping.
Okay, maybe not
either.
him. We don't count him. He's too busy... Man, that was bad. So, as the match goes, and someone kind of figured out, like, the formula for, like, a bloodline rules match. It's like 5 minutes of, like, actual wrestling, 10 minutes maybe. And then there's, like pseudo-violence. Like, it doesn't get, like, horrendous, but, like, it gets, like, like the steps made an appearance. Solo tries to go for a stink face on the steps, but misses. Cody ducks out of the way, and Solo hits the steps. And then, The cameos. It's basically the MCU. Oh, this person and this person and this person. Arn Anderson's here, and Pharaoh the dog is here too. Although Pharaoh didn't get in the ring, that would have been funny. And the match culminates with first Cody taking like a crazy table spot from Jacob Fatu, which Jacob sold really well, and that's a whole other conversation for later. But the match, of course, ends with both men down on the ground, and Pat McAfee's yelling his ass off, and blah 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 blah. And then Roman's music hits. That place goes electric.
The new Roman music.
The Mania music.
The Mania, the Mania specific.
The God is here
version.
music.
Yes, the God has come back.
The Def Rebel version.
Which is funny because didn't Def Rebel make that song?
Yes.
So,
they're both Def Rebel.
Yeah, it's all Def Rebel. It always has.
I'm
been.
surprised it didn't. It hasn't.
It's
I'm
always
surprised.
been Def Rebel.
I'm surprised it doesn't
Def
open
Rebel.
with "Acknowledge me."
I'm so glad.
So they are
doesn't.
capable of making a theme that's not only good, but doesn't have to use the character's voice
No,
to tell us whose song it is.
no.
A novel
Anyway.
concept.
So the music hits, and the crowd's going crazy, and Roman comes out, and Roman looks good. He looks like he's in great shape. Like he hasn't
Big
missed
beard.
a day in the gym. And Roman starts walking down towards the ring, and he's staring at the ring the whole time. He doesn't lose track of what his target is. Right? And everyone's thinking, well, it's Cody. It has to be.
I loved commentary on this
Mm-hmm.
because I think Corey and Pat, like, first off, Pat was like, oh, he's going after. One of them was like, oh, he's going after Cody Rhodes, the guy who took the title from him. And then he's like, no, he's going after Solo Sikoa. He's going after the guy who took his place in the bloodline. Like, even commentary acted like they had no idea what his motivations were, and I thought that was a super cool moment because usually commentary seems to like.
They
I don't
just
know.
kinda-
They kind of spoil it for
yeah, they
you,
kinda spoil
but
it.
they
You're like,
actually
oh, okay.
they actually were realistic about it to build the intrigue. Anyway, I'm
But
sorry. Continue.
Roman goes down to the ring, starts he gets a running start, slides in as Solo Sikoa is getting up. Roman charges up, hits Solo with a Superman punch, gets into the corner, gets the crowd hyped up, gets the oohs and the ahs, hits Solo with a spear, and in genuinely the only thing I liked about this match was this specific moment. Roman hits Solo with a spear. He's looking around at the crowd, slowly turns over to Cody, and just nods and walks away. Cody gets Solo up, hits him with a crossroads, 1, 2, 3. Cody Rhodes retains the Undisputed World Championship. Roman Reigns has not left the building. He's still there. He's just on the ramp watching Solo. We know who his target is. We've known who his target is, but the way they presented it.
Meanwhile, Cody kept his eyes locked on Roman. He hit
Mm-hmm.
the crossroads on Solo, and he's looking dead at Roman. And then he hits it. He spins around, pins Solo, looking dead into Roman's eyes. Like, that was fucking crazy. After
Poor
the show,
Solo.
at the poor Solo. Yeah, Solo really ended up just being the background character in all of this. The best was after the match. And Cody celebrating, and they cut the camera to Solo sitting on the floor with Jacob Fatu, who also is sitting on the floor because he got injured. And he's like crying like a child. He's like, no, oh no. Like, oh my god, it was so fucking funny watching him.
Which is also a callback,
cry.
very similar to the Money in the Bank losing moment for Roman Reigns, where he did the same thing.
Oh,
after
I
getting
didn't even
pinned.
know that.
That was yep. I
Good
caught
eye,
that.
dude.
I
didn't
caught
even.
that. I was
oh
like,
man,
that looks familiar. That's also
Damn.
one of my favorite
Wait, Roman did that?
He did, absolutely. He like
Tell-
wipes
wait,
his face
when?
and like screams after losing to Jay,
Oh right, yeah.
Yep,
After losing to
yep.
yes, that was what happened.
which was also part of one of my favorite Romanisms, where he's like, I hate England, it's the dumbest place ever.
Yeah, now he has the England hate for it. Nah, man, but it was a great moment. It was a great way to close the show. I will say I don't like this theme as much. I think the new theme is better as like a live special attraction theme. I think it was better for the one-off at Mania. The intro's too long. I think it fit more in a live sense when they had the live orchestra. I like the old version better, but It's not bad. I can't hate, but I kind of wish they saved that as like a one-off special appearance theme for Mania.
There's definitely some timing things in that entrance.
There is timing specific.
Right.
They're
And
like
you can't
3
do a
different
run,
intros. They're like 3 different builds.
Like a run-in, and on a run-in the theme doesn't fit. But
I mean,
No,
it
'cause it
fit
just
the
takes too
long
long.
ass mile-long ramp. So
Well,
I mean-
yeah, but I think if they had started with how the theme normally just goes, like, but just straight up, like, it hits. The point is the pop.
yeah.
The point is the pop, right? So you start with that. That's going to get everyone going crazy. Like, yeah, I know they had the head of the table graphic and everything, so you know Roman's coming. But if they start with just how the theme normally goes, just right into it, get the crowd riled, going crazy, and have Roman then come out. Because with the Mania version of the theme that they used, it's like, okay, but now there's all this time we got to wait. It's like a whole, like, minute or, like, 40 seconds. And then like, oh, there's Roman. There he is. And it's been 40 seconds. Why he could have come out 40 seconds ago. This match did not need to go 29 minutes. It really didn't.
So my thoughts on the match.
It's fine.
Whatever.
It's fine.
The
Yeah,
goal
whatever.
was Roman.
man,
Yep.
The goal was Roman. Obviously. I loved it. I loved Roman coming back. I loved the ooh-ah from the crowd. That was epic. I mean, that's
the reaction, the whole
that's
reaction.
10 years of this experiment, and we've done it. We've done it. We've made Roman the babyface that he always could be. So congratulations for that. The story going forward, we know what that is, so it's not even
Coming weeks, we're gonna get the
worthless.
twins. We're gonna get Sammy.
Worth
We're
it,
gonna
yeah.
get it's
Yeah,
all
we're
gonna
get
happen.
some stuff. Although the nod and all that gives me very big Cap and Iron Man vibes.
Mhm.
Yeah, do we get Cody? Ugh,
Which I don't really want.
no, I
but
want Bloodline, but
I get
Yeah.
it. I get it.
they have
I
a
just don't want it.
they have a brand split friendly version they could do that would not be as good.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
and I'm just not into it.
It's gonna
I
be
think
like the
the
brand
thing
split version will be
is
Cody, Roman, KO, and Randy.
Yeah, I think the thing
Ugh.
is like,
Ew.
going into the inevitable War Games match, is it like, this is kind of like a big question that's been going around. Is it going to be a 4-on-4? Is it going to be a 5-on-5? Because we know what Team Solo is going to look like. It's going to be Solo. God,
Maybe.
I hope it's not Tongaloa.
Maybe
That's true.
At this
Maybe
point,
we
yeah,
know.
maybe.
Yeah, at this point, we're not entirely
Because
sure.
there was
nice
also that
because
scary
there's-
spot we didn't really talk about
there's
yet.
some alleged things going on. So the big
Yeah.
story coming out of that side of the bloodline is the possibility of Jacob Fatu being pretty seriously injured. It looked like he fucked up his ankle.
I
his
think
knee?
it was his shin or his calf or something.
So-
It looked like he fucked something up. It didn't look
Yeah.
like it was an ACL tear.
It looked like he
Doesn't
slammed
look
his.
like-
It looked
it
like he
didn't look
slammed his calf.
like
He
it
might have
was
broke
the
his leg.
Achilles.
Honestly,
There was I can't remember the TikTok who posted it, the account, but I actually saw yesterday they had ringside POV of that spot, and I rewatched it as many times as I could to see like what exactly happened and where, especially based on the reports we've gotten that he was told to sell that injury or sell that spot as hard as he could, right? And based on what I saw, when Jacob lands on the table, it's like the middle of his, like, if this is my arm, obviously, but if you think about this as your shin, right? Like, right here down the middle is where it comes into contact with the edge of the table. And I'm thinking, okay, either that was, like, him just selling it as hard as he could, or, like, he might have actually landed on that and fucked up something.
So there was no X, but
No, and that's the thing. There was no audible called.
no X. But I mean, they could have. I mean, there are actual things that go on that you can just kind of, while the camera's not on, you go to look at ringside
Yeah.
and be like, bro,
You can't figure that
I
out.
can't walk.
Plus, apparently, he was in a walking boot today, so
So there is that.
that being said, there are potentials
there
for
are
new people to
other-
throw in.
That's what I was gonna say. That's
Sorry.
where I was gonna go with it. There are some alleged signings and alleged people backstage skipping indie dates.
Zilla Fatu missed his GCW date. I think
Missed.
Yusuf said because of travel delays.
yeah. So that
Miss.
was it was a clarification from Fightful earlier today that Zilla missed his GCW date this past weekend due to travel delays and cancellations. And no matter what, like any way he would have been able to get to Cleveland, he wouldn't have been able to get to GCW on time. So because he ended up missing his booking, he ended up screw it. I'm gonna go to SummerSlam.
And Hikuleo is signed. They just
Yes.
have not figured out what to do with Hikuleo yet.
No.
It might be Hikuleo.
And we all know what's going on with Tongaloa right now.
God,
and
don't put
it ain't-
him in the fucking
It
match.
ain't much. It ain't
Hikuleo
much.
would be so interesting because then you have Solo, who is a direct member of the Bloodline, with all 3 of the Tongans, who are not.
Which is fun.
Yeah, it is fun, but it makes for a little more interesting of the story.
Sucks for Jacob Fatu. I think that's the real.
I
thing,
really hope he's okay.
that I
Oh
really
my
hope
God.
we really hope it's a quick injury. Maybe just can't go and do shit in the ring for maybe a month or so. Come back sometime in October. Rest up the leg. Don't fuck yourself up, but be ready for November. Because we if there's no Jacob Fatu in this match, no matter who's in this match now, there's nothing for the future.
Well said. Well, I don't want to. I don't want to cut it short now, but unfortunately, we got to make like Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker because time constraints. So
Yeah.
we're gonna wrap up here. Real quick though, best in wrestling. No one talk about it. Just give it. For me, you're gonna laugh at it. I'm going Jelly Roll. He surprised me.
I give you that. Yeah.
He surprised me. Second, close second is Damian Priest, but Jelly Roll.
For me, it's Damian Gunther.
Dom.
Hell yeah.
My guy gets a wife, a work hoe, and a side hoe
For
all
real.
at once.
That's
Now,
true.
well,
That's
Work
true.
Hoe is
He-
now Side Hoe is now Work Hoe, and Work Hoe is now out. So
Yeah.
you're down to 2 for him.
What an idiot.
Way to fumble
He
the
threw
bag.
away the wrong one.
Yeah, he did, but
He
that's the
did.
whole point.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. And now the wrong one's gonna screw him over. And now the well, yeah,
The correct one.
The correct one's going to kill
He
him.
threw the correct one. The wrong one that he chose is gonna screw him over down the line. Is my pick, but we'll
Yeah.
see. But y'all, we're gonna wrap it here. We really appreciate you tuning in this week. Hopefully next week we'll have a longer show. But again, we'll be on TikTok. We'll be on
I like a
YouTube.
short episode.
I'm gonna be doing some reactions for Raw tonight, where the Wyatt 6 debuts. So be on the
Some of
lookout
us
for
are
that.
in. Oh, I get
Some
to
of
Some
see-
of us are going. Yeah.
Some of us are going. Yep. Some of us are on the
It'll be
floor.
lit.
So that'll be fun. But y'all, thanks so much. Really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit subscribe on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@vacantwrestling. Follow us on TikTok, tiktok.com/@vacantwrestling. We're going to be doing a ton more. I have a free month of work. I have like 3 weeks off, so expect a shit ton more content. But until then, we really appreciate it, and we'll see y'all later.
Bye.
You're
Okay, bye.